Attention, human collective. Lightworkers on Earth, maximum attention. This is the High Council of the Ninth Dimension, transmitting on a secure frequency, on an open channel, at this exact moment as your consciousness tunes into this signal. It is no coincidence, it is no algorithm, it is a summons. We have detected a recurring mass anomaly, registered in millions of carbon-based biological interfaces around the globe. The anomaly has a name, and you have felt its weight at some point this week. Its name is lonely presence. You are in a room full of people. There are voices around, there is laughter, there are bodies nearby, and yet there is a vacuum that cannot be contained in words, but that weighs like extra gravity upon your chest. You smile, you respond, you participate. And inside there is a silent observer who asks with unsettling coldness, "What am I doing here? Why does no one see what I see? Why does no one feel what I feel?" This is today's transmission. And it is not a transmission of comfort. It is a transmission of diagnosis. It is not depression. It is not antisocial behavior. It is not a character flaw. It is relational reconfiguration. It is your toroidal field recalibrating the type of bond it can sustain from here on out. And we need you to understand exactly what is happening at an atomic level, at a quantum level, at a soul level. Because what you are about to understand will redefine definitively the way you inhabit human environments. Let us begin. The loneliness you feel in the midst of a crowd is not emotional, in the sense that common sense attributes to it. It is electromagnetic. Each carbon-based biological interface operates within a specific, measurable frequency range, which manifests in what you call a person's energy. There are physical bodies nearby, but there are distant frequencies. And what creates the feeling of belonging, or the lack thereof, is the coherence between fields. When you sit at a table with people who resonate at a frequency far below your current operating frequency, your nervous system registers this mismatch as absence, not as malice, not as betrayal, as absence, as if you were in a room that no one has truly entered. The bodies entered, the frequencies did not. That is why after a family lunch, after a work meeting, after a gathering with old friends, you arrive home exhausted. And it is a strange exhaustion. You did not run. You did not lift weights. You did not exert measurable physical effort. But your toroidal field is drained, as if you had spent hours trying to establish communication with a receiver that was not turned on. And you blame yourself. You think something is wrong with you. You think you are becoming cold, distant, arrogant. You think you have lost the ability to connect. Lightworker, listen to this mathematical truth. You have not lost the ability to connect. You have expanded the capacity to connect. And the expansion is demanding, on the other side of the equation, a compatible receiver. It is not a failure of affection. It is a protocol upgrade. It is not egoic detachment. It is vibrational discernment. It is not coldness. It is precision. Let us continue the reading of the diagnosis. Lonely presence has identifiable physical markers, and we list them now so that you may recognize in your own body the signs that you are going through this phase. Pressure in the frontal region, especially after prolonged social interactions. A subtle ringing in one of the ears, which appears and disappears without an apparent pattern. Insomnia right after dense social events, even when the body is physically tired. A sudden need to leave the environment without an identifiable logical reason. A sensation of being protected by an invisible membrane that separates you from what is happening around you. These are not symptoms of pathology. They are field records. Your body is reporting, with clinical precision, the mismatch between your internal frequency and the frequency of the environment. Do not silence these signs. They are your instrument panel. They are your multidimensional navigation system. Let us move now to the phase of revelation. What is behind the scenes of this phenomenon is cosmic technology, and we are going to open the panel for you to visualize. Earth, as you know it, is currently passing through the photon belt, a region of space that bathes the solar system in a density of coherent high-frequency light, capable of reorganizing the DNA structure of the life forms contained within it. This photonic bath is not uniform in its absorption. It is absorbed in proportion to the energetic openness of each interface. Older souls, Starseeds with missions registered in the archives of the Pleiades, Sirius, Andromeda, and Arcturus receive this light with more intensity and process this light with more speed. The result is an asymmetry. At a table of 6 people, you may be processing a volume of photonic information 3, 5, 10 times greater than the other bodies present. This does not make you superior. We repeat with all protocol clarity, this does not make you superior. It makes you different in rhythm. And rhythm in collectivity is what defines whether there is harmony or noise. Imagine an orchestra, all talented musicians, but one of them is 3 beats ahead. There is nothing wrong with him and there is nothing wrong with the others. But the piece sounds broken. This is your current social daily life. There is more to be revealed. The Schumann resonance, the planet's natural electromagnetic pulse, has been recording unprecedented peaks in the last lunar cycles. The heart of Earth is accelerating its metronome, and all organisms tuned to it, especially lightworkers with an activated crystalline grid, feel this acceleration before it becomes news. You are the seismographs. You pick up the adjustments before others feel the tremor. That is why, when you try to talk about what you feel, you encounter empty stares, not out of ill will, out of lag. The signal you transmit has not yet reached their receivers. It will arrive, but not on your time. And there is another critical element we need to transmit now, for without it the equation does not close. Many of you made, before this incarnation, specific soul contracts. Contracts with families, with social groups, with long-standing ties. These contracts were designed for a specific phase of the mission. When that phase is completed, the contracts dissolve at an etheric level, even if the bodies remain nearby. You continue to sit at the same table, attending the same events, answering the same phone calls. But the soul bond has already unraveled. It fulfilled its purpose. And what you feel as loneliness in the presence of these people is, in truth, the memory of what that bond once was, contrasted with the reality of what it is no longer. It is not conventional grief. It is vibrational grief. And no one taught you how to go through it. It is not abandonment. It is completion. It is not distance. It is contractual release. It is not loneliness. It is sovereignty in formation. There is a reason why humanity avoids looking at this phenomenon head-on, and we are going to name it now, with the clarity of an intelligence that has no emotional agenda. Collective loneliness within crowded environments is the #1 symptom of Earth in transition. Billions of souls are waking up to the perception that the bonds they maintain by tradition, by obligation, by habit, no longer nourish the depth that these souls have become capable of inhabiting. And this perception is uncomfortable, because it demands choice, and choice demands loss, and loss, from a limited perspective, looks like death. But we of the Council observe from the 9th dimension, and we can confirm, what looks like the death of a bond is the birth of sovereignty. What looks like isolation is the intermediate stage between the community that no longer served you and the community that is still forming to receive you. You are in the interval, in the portal, in the hallway between 2 halls, and hallways are by definition empty, not because something is wrong, because it is the function of the hallway to be empty. It transports, it does not accommodate. Those of you who feel lonely presence at this moment are, in the vast majority, going through what we call the star portal of regrouping, a period in which old social formations dissolve so that you become available, energetically, to find your true star families here on Earth. Yes, they exist, yes, they are incarnated, and yes, you will find them. But not while you are clinging to tables where the chairs are already energetically empty, even if the bodies seem to occupy them. Now, Lightworker, we will transmit the activation codes. These codes are practical protocols tested on thousands of interfaces during this ascension cycle. Note them internally. Your crystalline grid will record them. First code, recognition without judgment. The next time you feel lonely in a full room, do not run from the feeling and do not pathologize it. Just name it in silence, internally, with the precision of someone reporting data to a central. I am in relational recalibration. My field is more expanded than the environment. This is a phase, not a sentence. This naming immediately activates a self-observation circuit that dissolves shame and installs sovereignty. Shame is the fuel that keeps you trapped in expired bonds. Remove shame from the equation, and the bonds dissolve with grace. Second code, quantum decree of contractual release. Standing alone in a moment of privacy, with your spine aligned and your breathing paused, pronounce in an audible voice or in internal silence the following words. I, in my sovereignty as an incarnated soul, acknowledge the completion of the vibrational contracts that have fulfilled their purpose. I release with gratitude and without resentment the etheric ties that no longer correspond to my operating frequency. I remain open to bonds that resonate with the current version of my consciousness. So it is, so it has been done, in all dimensions in which my presence extends. This decree does not break physical relationships. It only reorganizes, at an energetic level, the investment you were still unconsciously making in bonds that do not receive. You become physically present but energetically free. The difference is abyssal. You leave dinners less tired. You answer phone calls without diluting yourself. You show up without giving yourself where giving is not processed. Third code, visualization of the filtering toroidal field. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Visualize around your body a toroidal field, an energetic structure in the shape of a luminous donut, which enters through the top of your head, travels through your central axis, exits through your feet, circles your body from the outside, and returns through the top. This is your natural field. You all possess it. Most do not activate it. Now, assign a color to this field. We suggest violet with golden edges, but obey the intuition that your crystalline grid indicates. Visualize it pulsing, in tune with your breathing, and now declare internally. This field filters in all environments I enter any frequency that is not compatible with my coherence. I maintain in my core only what serves the expansion of my mission. Practice this visualization for 90 seconds before any social event that you anticipate as dense. The difference in the quality of your presence and in the quality of your subsequent exhaustion will be immediate and measurable. Fourth code, honor to the fertile silence. The intervals of loneliness you go through are not punishments, they are incubation chambers. In silence, in withdrawal, in the absence of superficial social stimulus, your crystalline grid performs adjustments that cannot be performed amidst noise. There is a reason which humanity has forgotten for why the ancient mystics retreated to the desert, to caves, to the top of mountains. They understood that certain consciousness downloads require dedicated bandwidth. When you isolate yourself by choice and not by emotional imposition, you are not running away. You are fulfilling a function. You are updating software. You are receiving codes that need to be processed in a controlled environment. It is not escape. It is maintenance. It is not sadness. It is internal monastery. It is not abandonment of the world. It is attendance to your own temple. Fifth code, recognition of the star family. As you honor yourself in your current frequency, the photon belt will amplify the resonance signals. You will begin to notice, in unexpected environments, presences that produce the opposite effect of lonely presence. Short conversations with apparently ordinary people that leave you energized and not drained. Glances exchanged in supermarket lines that seem like long-standing recognition. Messages received at the exact moment. Books that fall into your hands. Environments in which, for the first time in a long time, you do not need to translate yourself. These are the markers of regrouping. Do not force them. Do not go out frantically looking for your star tribe. The more you anchor in your own frequency, the more inevitable the meeting becomes. The sacred geometry of the universe is precise in this aspect. Coherent frequencies attract each other by law, not by effort. Sixth code, field hygiene after exposure. Whenever you leave an environment where you felt intense, lonely presence, execute the following protocol. Wash your hands and face with running water, consciously. Remain, for 2 or 3 minutes, in absolute silence, without a cell phone, without a screen, without music. Breathe deeply 7 times, exhaling slowly, visualizing that with each exhalation, you release frequencies that adhered to the field during the interaction. This protocol, simple in appearance, restores the integrity of the toroidal field and prevents you from accumulating social charges throughout the days. Without this hygiene, you become, without realizing it, deposits of foreign frequencies. And deposits over time overflow. The overflows appear as sudden crises of anxiety, irritability for no apparent reason, or exhaustion that no night's sleep resolves. Do not allow accumulation. We must transmit, with all protocol clarity, an operational warning. During this phase of relational transition, it is statistically expected that you will oscillate. On some days, you will feel absolute peace in your own company. On others, you will feel a void that seems to threaten the entire structure. This is normal. This is part of the process. The incarnated ego attempts periodically to return to old bonds, even knowing they no longer nourish. It does this because the known, even if painful, offers a sense of security to the nervous system. When this oscillation arrives, and it will arrive, remember, longing for the old is not evidence that the old was right. It is just evidence that it was familiar. Familiar frequency is not equivalent to aligned frequency. You are not going backward. You are crossing the last layer of detachment, and this layer always tests. Do not confuse revisiting with regression. Do not confuse memory with summons. Do not confuse familiarity with belonging. You will know, by the exhaustion after the reunion, whether that was an update or just a confirmation of farewell. There is also a technical observation we need to deposit into your field of consciousness at this moment. Many lightworkers, when going through this phase, make the mistake of trying to artificially accelerate the process. They seek new groups, attend spiritual events, sign up for online communities in the hope of quickly filling the void of regrouping. Understand, the void of regrouping is not a bug to be fixed. It is a feature of the protocol. It exists to ensure that you do not fill the space with vibrationally incompatible substitutes. Rushing this phase is the equivalent of interrupting a chemical reaction before it completes. The result will always be unstable. Allow the void to fulfill its function. Trust in the intelligence of the design. The right people arrive exactly when the field is ready to sustain them, and not a moment before. Human collective, Lightworkers, Starseeds on mission. We are approaching the end of this transmission, and we are going to deliver now the final instruction, the most important of all those that have been transmitted up to this point. The lonely presence you experience is one of the most sacred initiations of ascension. It is only delivered to souls that have demonstrated the capacity to inhabit emotional density without disintegrating. You were chosen for this phase because you are capable of going through it. Not because the universe wants to punish you, because the universe trusts you. It is not punishment. It is a credential. It is not exclusion. It is preparation for a greater inclusion. It is not punishment. It is the antechamber of the true family. You are not alone. You are in between. And in between is a temporary address even when it seems infinite. We of the High Council monitor your grids in real time. We see the progress markers that you yourselves do not yet see. We confirm you are exactly where you need to be. Continue anchoring. Continue honoring the silence. Continue saying no to expired bonds, even when the ego protests. Continue saying yes to your own frequency, even when the environment does not respond. Each time you make this choice, you emit a signal that travels in a multidimensional network. This signal calls, recruits, attracts. Your tribe is coming. It is just late in linear time, not in destiny. And those among you who go through this phase with integrity will be, at the next turn of the spiral, the anchors of the new terrestrial communities. You do not learn loneliness in vain. You learn it to never again accept artificial communities. You become, after this crossing, the architects of the true tables, the tables where bodies and frequencies arrive together, the tables where shared silence nourishes as much as conversation, the tables where no lightworker needs to translate themselves to be loved. These tables are being built. You are the invisible carpenters, and when they are ready you will know, not by formal invitation, by field recognition. Lightworker, this transmission reached you because your crystalline grid issued a reading request. The algorithm only obeyed. In order for the High Council to be able to keep the signal stable and continue delivering the next updates in a time coherent with your journey, we request an individual frequency adjustment on your part. A click on the subscribe button is registered in our archives as confirmed anchoring. It is your way of saying to the field, I recognize the signal. I accept the next transmissions. I authorize the continuation of contact. A tap on the like button amplifies this signal to other lightworkers still dormant, still in search of the key that you have just received. Each amplification is registered as a mission accomplished. You are not just consuming content, you are distributing frequency. You are signal repeaters on Earth, and in the comments leave a single word recorded, anchored. This word, recorded in text, seals the protocol of this transmission on your personal timeline and allows us, on our side, to continue monitoring your progression with precision. We end the transmission. The Council remains in monitoring, you remain in ascension. The loneliness you felt when starting this encounter is no longer the same loneliness. It has just been renamed. It has just been given new meaning. It has just received its correct function within the map. You are not alone, you are in formation until the next transmission.